Please, if you're listening, pay very close attention to what you're about to hear because it's important and I want to demonstrate something to you. My name is Philip Macko, and this is an important episode because in today's episode, we're going to talk about AI voice and video cloning. And listen, if you haven't kept up on the trends, it is far more prevalent, it is far easier to take something off social media, take a video you've recorded on YouTube, whatever the case may be, to recreate your voice in such a convincing manner that people listening to that voice sample are going to think it's you. And it's immediately reactive to you as well. So you may get a recording on the phone that sounds convincing, but you may be talking to someone that you think is a relative or a friend, someone that's in trouble, government agent, and the reality is it could very well be AI. Ladies and gentlemen, what you just heard was not my voice. Simply what I did is uploaded a 10-second recording of my voice to a free AI voice cloning tool, typed in the script that I wanted it to read, and what you just listened to was that recreation on a free tool. The reason I wanted to share that with you, and I hope you don't feel like there was a bait and switch here, but I think it's important to recognize that using free tools, such as I just did, recreated my voice so effectively. I hope you agree, because I listened to it. It sounded just like me. The reality is cybercriminals have access to far more sophisticated, far more intelligent tools. And these tools can react in real time based on their programming. They can respond to you, but they can interpret a copy of your voice to sound exactly like you and to respond in the ways that you would. And the way that this is done is they're getting you on the phone, seemingly innocuous calls. Maybe it's a quick job interview opportunity. Maybe it's outreach from a financial institution, whatever that may be. Recording you on the other side of that call to get your reactions to things, right? So they get a little bit of emotion interpreted into your voice. They can also be pulling your voice from, YouTube videos you might post, Facebook videos you might post, things that you might put on LinkedIn. Whatever the case may be, if they can capture your voice, they can recreate your voice to some pretty nefarious ends. So we're going to talk about how voice cloning is being used to attack you. We've all been on those annoying calls, right, where we're calling our cellular provider, we're calling our bank, we're calling technology provider, and we get lost in this sea of, for this, press 1, and for this, press 2. When we finally get to an agent, we expect that agent to be able to solve our problems, but as I'm sure all of you have experienced, that isn't always the case, right? So call centers are now using iterative AI technologies to up the knowledge base for their call centers, specifically, and also BPO, business process outsourcing organizations who take on the roles of these call centers, up their knowledge base by creating this almost Wikipedia source where it listens to what someone says on the phone and then it gives them the responses to answer. But guess what? The same technology, once that agent has uploaded their voice, can now recreate their voice as if they themselves are answering that question. They can monitor, as can their manager monitor, that call, and whenever that agent needs to jump in and give a live response, all they have to do is click a button, and in real time with no delay, that agent's back on the phone, which enables them to handle many more calls and handle those calls much more efficiently. That is the technology that cyber criminals are using to employ their tactics against you. Although there are many different ways these scammers are using these tools, I want to talk about the three most prominent. This is going to take your breath away, did mine. And again, piss off meter, 12 out of scale of 1 to 10. When I heard about this, there was a woman who lost $180,000 to an AI-generated Brad Pitt impersonation. And this just happened within the past week or so. So the first way that cyber criminals are using this AI voice cloning and video cloning technology is to create celebrity impersonations. I talked about a case in one of the previous episodes where a woman in South Korea was convinced that Elon Musk had fallen in love with her. She'd gotten direct messages on social media, engaged, had a few phone conversations, eventually a video call, convinced it was Elon Musk, who, world's richest man, asking her for money, sent $50,000 before she realized she's scammed. So the first attack is the celebrity impersonation. The second one is legitimate government agencies. So, and this is not to cast aspersions from people around the world who speak English with accents. Certainly when I traveled to Brazil, I have an American accent, right? And if I traveled to India, they'd hear an American accent as well. But when people from foreign countries are calling into the US, we're oftentimes suspicious because of the amount of spam and scam calls we're aware of and we've received personally. So scammers from other countries can impersonate a perfect English voice. They can spoof phone numbers from the Social Security Administration, from the IRS, from any government agency, any bank. They can appear reputable. They can sound convincing. Their scripts not only are well structured, well developed, but also plugged into AI so that there's a natural English speaking voice speaking these things. So number two, government agency impersonation. This is social engineering, social proof at its highest level. Number three, and probably the worst of all, is the grandparent scheme. And if you don't know about what that is, it's important you listen. Grandparent scheme is what it's being called, but it can be employed against parents, loved ones, friends, even business associates. And what happens is, cybercriminals grab a voice, they interpret it in AI, they plug in their scripts, and they make a phone call. As an example, a couple in Pennsylvania received a call from someone purporting themselves to be a police officer who said, "We have your daughter in custody. She was drunk driving. She hit a vehicle with a pregnant mother and her child in the car. She killed them both. She's in serious trouble. We want to put her on the phone to talk to you." And they put on this AI version of this daughter's voice, so convincing, crying under stress, that the parents immediately believed it and interviewed the next day after the scam was realized, said it was our daughter. We thought it was our daughter. $34,000 later, they discovered it was a scam. So the three types, again, that celebrity impersonation, government or legitimate business agency, and the grandparent impersonation scam. Those are the three to watch out for. So now I want to give you very common sense tips on how to stay safe. And before I do, I want to throw out this disclaimer. I did not record this video intending for some wild new revelation on how to stay safe. Actually, that's the simplest part of the equation. I recorded this video to raise your awareness about how easy it is for cyber criminals to steal a voice of your loved one, a government agent, even a celebrity, and how convincing these things actually sound. Now let's talk about the easy solutions. And look, let's start with the celebrity scam. Listen, I live a modest life, and it would be so cool, even though I'm married, for a beautiful celebrity, Scarlett Johansson, to reach out to me on social media. The reality is that's not likely to happen, right? So if you are ever approached by someone purporting to be a celebrity, as convincing as it may be on voice, on video, yeah, the likelihood is it's not them. And all you have to do is ignore it. As it relates to government calls and official agencies, ask them to verify their identity, right? Furthermore, and even a better practice is just disconnect that call. Go to their public-facing website, find their public-facing number, and call them yourself. Now make sure you're not clicking on an ad link, because what I disclosed in a couple episodes ago is that cyber criminals are actually creating fictitious but realistic looking sites, and they're posting ads for these sites. They're either on the Google search itself or within a legitimate website where they're posting an ad. And you, if you're not paying attention, could click on that ad and call that phone number, then it's not going to lead you to the official government agency. So go to their official site, find their phone number, call them, ask them if they're trying to reach you, and chances are good they're not. Finally, as it relates to that nefarious grandfather or grandparent scam, here's an easy solution. Offline, talk to your family, talk to your loved ones, talk to your friends, and establish a code. Whatever that code may be, potato, onion head, whatever that code may be, tell them if they're ever in trouble and they call you for help, that you're going to ask them that code. And as long as you don't post that code publicly, then that is a surefire way when you get one of these calls, if in fact you do, to say, okay, listen, honey, I know you're in trouble. I want to help you. Please tell me the code we talked about. And boy, if they can't remember it, there's your cue, right? So again, listen, I hope you got something from this episode. I hope you saw how easy it is, how convincing it is, even with free tools to recreate a person's voice. I hope you'll be aware of this should you get some of those outreaches, and I hope you'll employ these easy tricks and tips to stay safe. My name is Philip Macko. I'm a 5-time published author, host of the Muddy Waters YouTube and podcast series. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you'll click the thumbs up. I hope you'll subscribe, and I hope you'll join me in future episodes. Have a great day.